Hey everyone, I wanted to do the recap video on last week's UFC card, Yadong versus Gutierrez. This is a video that I want to be able to make every week after every UFC card because it's what I think is the most important part of the process, whether you're sports betting, whether you're playing DFS, pretty much anything in life. You always have to reflect and see where you can improve. And it's no different with this. So yeah, just want to go over this card, talk about if there's anything that I did wrong, anything that I can change for next time, and um, that's about it. Should be a pretty quick video. So the optimal lineup was a three-way split, so not too bad, 45K a piece. And yeah, just looking at the fighters real quick: Garcia, Park, Jusette, Muniz, Elliott, and Nasrat. We had five of these six fighters identified in our player pool, so good stuff there. And long story short, Nasrat absolutely screwed me on this card. I mean, I had this card, what I think played perfectly besides Nasrat. Um, it's really annoying to me that this happened, but that's the game you play. At the end of the day, you are gambling. You're obviously trying to gamble as smartly as possible and make the best decisions that you can. But there's still a lot of variance and randomness at the end of the day. So that's something I accept, but it still isn't any less annoying that this happened. But yeah, let's talk about Nasrat first. 8.7K plus 250 ITD, which is really not good, especially with the context of this slate. You had many other fighters that looked a lot better, either right next to him in the salary range or even much lower than him. So, yeah, horrible play. I crossed him out and I don't regret it. I mean, there's no reason why anyone could tell me that was a good play. Um, yeah, it is what it is. And then we have Tim Elliott, and this was a short notice replacement and something that I wasn't completely sure that I was going to be on when I didn't know the odds or anything like that. But then I saw the props come out, and he had, I think, plus 210 ITD, which is fine for this price. And I looked more into his past fights, and yeah, he puts up monster scores. I mean, yeah, you can see he can put up 100 plus in decision wins, and he has all the grappling upside. So he was in my pool, and yeah, he smashed. Got the finish in the first round. Great win for him on short notice. I like watching Tim Elliott fight, so happy to see him win. Nothing that out of the ordinary there, though. You can see he was 35% owned, and for good reason. Then we got Muniz. As far as the betting, this is a classic buy low type of situation. So many people were writing off Muniz after his last two losses versus Allen and Craig. And yeah, he comes back and gets a great win. And as far as the actual fight, it was actually very competitive because Park was doing a lot more damage, but Muniz was just dominating with the grappling, uh, sticking to him throughout all of the rounds. And I do think he won this fight in a very close 29-28 decision. And I do think that was the right decision, in my opinion. But DraftKings wise, he absolutely smashed 11 takedowns, all the control time. Uh, yeah, put up a monster score, especially for that 7.4K price. And he was a fighter that we were on for good reason. The grappling upside, and he had a really good ITD line. So, not really surprised with that either. And then Jusette, another really good play. He was a good play without anything, not to mention the fact that his opponent, Son Kanan, was like one of the most owned underdogs on the slate. So, Jusette, really strong play. and he just happened to come through. I didn't really have an opinion on whether he would come through or not, but he was a play you wanted to be on, and he ended up getting there just with a lot of volume and yeah, showed really good striking, good leg kicks. He has that city kickboxing style. You can see it when he fights. And yeah, I'm looking forward. He's been in the optimal his first two fights in the UFC. So good stuff for him. And looking forward to seeing his next fight. Then we got Hyacinth Park. Uh, you know, you didn't have to be a rocket scientist to put him in your player pool. He was minus 120 to finish in round one, minus 300 uh, to win inside the distance. Obvious play you had to include. Not going to take any credit for it being a hot take or anything, but yeah, he gets there. Not surprising at all. And then Steve Garcia. Uh, this one was interesting because he was someone I kind of went back and forth on. Last week when the fight was supposed to happen, I had him in my player pool. But then for this week, you had so many good fighters down in that range from Sumo Derji to Anthony Smith, Andre Muniz, just a lot of fighters in that range. And so I actually did consider taking him out at one point, but then I looked at it right before I did my lineups on Friday one last time and just said, yeah, he's going to make it in. He wasn't a smash play, but he was good. He just made it inside the cut, and I'm glad I did include him. Uh, yeah, 95, pretty much just uh survived the first round while Costa was on his back, just controlling him, not really doing much. And then Garcia just said, "Screw that!" And in the second round, came out and knocked him out pretty brutally. So yeah, this guy's fun to watch. He absolutely comes after it, and he gets the KO for the sixth fighter in the optimal lineup. Um, Things to take into consideration from this card. Number one is, let me see if I can find a Sonya Dawn lineup. Really, he's not even okay. Here we go. So Sonya Dawn, he did not make the optimal, and I said he was very fringy for me, and I was even thinking about fading him, and I did for the most part in a lot of stuff. But one thing I did not consider, and yeah, just like I thought, he did not even get any volume upside. But the one thing I did not consider is the regular strikes, and that's something in DraftKings that you have to pay attention to, because if someone's in the clinch and they're just landing like pitter patter strikes, it could be very small. That's going to count as just a regular strike. And, you know, those add up, especially in a 5 round fight. So he got 160 strikes, which is what really propelled his score past 100. I was just thinking, oh, he's going to get like maybe 100 significant strikes and he's going to bust. And I was right about that, but I completely forgot about the fact that, you know, he could land these pitter patter strikes and accumulate a lot of points. But yeah, good win from Yadong Son. I'm really high on him for his future. I think he has a lot to do in the sport. And then the other thing, besides the total strike thing, that's one thing to learn from the slate is I got to pay attention to people who might not have, you know, significant strike upside, but just will have the total strike output to get them there. And then the other thing besides that to take away is Rountree. So Rountree was a great play on paper. No regrets playing him. But you just got to keep in mind with these pure strikers, you really need a round one KO to make them work. Like that's pretty much where all of their upside is in an early finish. Second round, even then you're asking for a lot. You're asking for hopefully a lot of knockdowns, and you need a lot. Uh and even more so for these, heavier strikers, light heavyweight, heavyweight, even middleweight who are relatively low volume is, yeah, you're going to really need to rely on that early finish. Now, if it's a really high volume striker, maybe you can get away with one of those second round finishes. But yeah, just know what you're getting yourself into when you're playing these heavier power punching strikers, and that is you need an early finish to make that work because otherwise, Rountree, he did get the finish, but only put up 78 with low volume and only one knockdown. And the other thing too is that with the heavier strikers, as I've been saying, is it's a lot harder for them to accumulate knockdowns because if you're getting hit with a clean punch at light heavyweight, it's probably because you're getting knocked out. Whereas if there's a bantamweight, he can knock out a guy one time, he stands back up, knocks two times. You know what I mean? We saw Andrade land 4 knockdowns on Mackenzie Dern. Uh, so yeah, in the future, I'm going to keep in mind heavier, pure strikers that are especially low volume. You really are asking for a lot, even if they do have strong metrics on paper. So yeah, 2 lessons. Nasrat really ruined my week. Well, not ruined, but he really hurt me this week, and that was really irritating. But it is what it is. Um, People who have total strike upside, keep that in mind. Stephanie Egger even landed like over 100. Let me look over a Yeah, over 100 total strikes just in the clinch. And I completely forgot about that too because I was like, "Oh, she's low volume," which she was, but the total strikes, gotta keep that in mind in the future, and then gotta keep in mind the risk of playing, heavier pure strikers that are low volume. Otherwise, I think I played the slate very good. I'm very happy with the way I played it, and I'm just gonna take those 2 little things that I learned and take them into the future. But besides that, good card for me. Good process. Everything was on point, and I'm looking forward to UFC 296 finalized video coming on Friday. We've already had a lot change since my first video, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys then.